thing, right? They say, oh, they collect money from everyone, they invest it. But I'm going to show you real numbers. Okay? Let's say I buy $1 million of life insurance and it costs me $10,000. Can we accept that as a good premium? Right? 10,000, 1%? Alright. So I pay 10,000, I die today. How much does the insurance company have to pay? 1 million. Right? How much have they got? 10,000. So they have to pay 990,000 from their pocket. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now they've paid the premium for 10 years. How much have they paid? 100,000. You die. How much do they pay? 1 million. How much have they collected? 100,000. So they have to still pay 900,000 from their pocket. Yes or no?
Yes.
Alright. You pay for 20 years. How much have you paid? 200,000. You die. How much do they have to pay? 1 million. Which investment converts 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 into $1 million for the insurance company? Which investment? Because insurance companies are not allowed to do risky investments. They have to do money market, bonds. So how does an insurance company make money? How? You want to know? Cancellation. When a client cancels the policy, they have surrender fees, they have received the money, they don't have to pay the liability, it's cancelled, they just refund the money back. That's how an insurance company makes money. So when a client buys insurance from me, I give them a condition. If you are buying, promise me you will never cancel. Because if you cancel, the only people who earn money are my shareholders, not you. You buy insurance, don't cancel till you die. Because I can guarantee you will die. I guarantee. It's only a matter of time. I have clients who tell me, oh Sanjay, so if I die, my wife will get this. I said, not if, when. Wrong choice of words. It's not if. There is no God in this room. There's no immortal. Correct or not?
Yes.
It's not if you die. It's when. When. And we pay double if it's accident. Correct or not? So, estate planning. Can you copy this presentation? You realize how simple it is? One page, and I did $125 million? One page. If you cannot explain a concept on one page, it's too difficult. Keep this in mind. You cannot explain a concept on one page, it is too difficult. Now, this was your inheritance. Now let's come to charity. Should a family be charitable? Yes or no?
Yes.
How many of you like to do charity? Almost all of you. How many of you like to do charity but cannot do charity? These two different questions, right or not? We love to do charity, but the question is, can I do charity? Do you know charitable donations are one of the biggest movers of money during in an economy? There are big, huge movements of money when we focus on charity. So I'm going to keep this over here. We're going to keep coming back to this chart. And I'm going to use this board so we can have a conversation. Don't worry. Okay. It's all good. Alright? So I'm going to keep this board. I don't change it. I'll keep using this one. Alright. Now, charity. I work on the board of 9 different charities globally. Okay? And I'm going to share something very interesting with you. A lot of people don't know this, but there's billions of dollars inside the charity. Yes or no? You've heard that, correct? But then why are charities always asking for more money? If there are billions of dollars in charity, then why are so many charities still always asking for money? So, when you run a charity, you run a three-pronged strategy, right? A three-pronged strategy. Short term, medium term, and long term. Short term, medium term, and long term. Short term is what we call fundraising. You're raising money all the time to make sure that the charity always has capital. So you'll hold events like galas, dinners, somebody's always asking for the money, please donate, please donate, please donate, please donate. That's what we call the short-term strategy. The medium-term strategy is what we call project funding. So we have a project, we're building a school, we're building a nursery, and it's what we call medium-term funding. We already have 50%, we need another additional 50%, and then they use a combination of short-term and then medium-term endowment strategy to build projects. Building a school, building a church, building a temple, donating for a particular cause, like there was a hurricane, there was a typhoon, earthquakes, etc., and you would have a project-based funding. That's what we call the medium-term strategy. And the last one is what we call the long-term strategy, or what we call the cash flow strategy. What is the cash flow strategy? I want to make sure that my charity is sustainable. Now, if there are billions of dollars in a charity, who is managing the money? Remember, the charity also has a trust. And that trust has trustees. And the trustees have a, what is the word? Fiduciary responsibility. So the trustees are managing the money. How many of you are a trustee or an advisor to the trust of a charitable foundation? How many of you work with charity as a trustee or an advisor to charitable foundation? You see? None of you. I have no competition. What did I tell you yesterday? Our industry is the least competitive business in the world, because none of you are doing what I do. None. Not even one. And there are 1,500 people in the room, and not one of you is an advisor to a charity. So what do I do when I work with a charity? I'm going to show you a very real example of a charity that I work with. I'm not allowed to disclose the name of the charity because we have signed non-disclosure agreements, but I'm going to share a very interesting case study. So I'm working with this charity, and we were trying to protect a forest. Okay? We were trying to protect a forest. This was the forest charity fund of a country. We were trying to protect the forest, and they said, Sanjay, we are running low on capital. We don't know how to raise capital. We need something that has to be more long-term, something that will help us sustain the forest for a long period of time, and nobody is interested in the forest. So I said, when nobody is interested in the forest, let's sell the forest. They're not interested, you're not interested, why are you keeping it? Let's sell it. So what did we do? We divided the forest into 100 units. Right? We divided the forest into 100 units, and we went. Right? So we went to Marco and we said, Marco, you can buy this forest. This forest will be named after your family forever. And for that, you have to only pay me $1 million. Now Marco is a rich guy. We went to the 100 richest families in the country, and we said, this forest will now be called Marco Forest. And anyone in the history after this, whenever they see, this will be called Marco's Forest. Then we went to Jonas and said, Jonas, Marco just bought a forest. You can buy the forest next to it and call Jonas Forest. Then we went to Sasha. We said, Sasha, Jonas and Marco both want. And we went to 100 of the richest families in the country. And we told everyone to contribute $1 million for a portion of the forest, which will be named after their family. We took this 100 million, we went to an insurance company, and we said, we want you to issue us a $200 million life insurance policy. We can double our capital in the next generation. And whatever the premium for that is, so the premium for that was roughly about $50 million. That $50 million purchased $200 million life insurance. The balance $50 million we put into an annuity. And the income we get from the annuity goes into the long-term capital to take care of the forest. Now, whenever one of them dies, what happens? The charity receives the proceeds from the life insurance, which will again buy life insurance on one of the family members of Marcos, Jonas, or Sasha, and it continues. Now, what if the family has no more people? Right? So Marcos decides, I want no kids, there are no more family members in the charity. A board member of the charity becomes an insured person, while the forest continues to stay in the name of the original. And it continues. We built this. By doing this, how much was the premium I collected? 100 million. I did this free of charge. That was my contribution as an advisor to the charity. So I did not earn any commission. I did not earn any commission. I did not get anything. I did not get any recognition, none of that. But I got introduced to the 100 richest families in that country. Out of those 100 families, 30 of those families became my clients. That was my rate of return for giving charitable advice. Interesting prospecting strategy?
Yes.
Do I feel good? Absolutely yes. I helped the country save a forest. I got 100 families involved into the community. I got 100 families to be building a legacy that will make them last forever. I used an insurer to manage a risk that they did not know they can. Correct or not? How many of you can think so fast, come up with a solution? You're working for a charity. Imagine you go to a charity and they say, we have no money. How many of you have gone to a charity that says, we have no money? All of us. We've heard of charities who always used to say, no money. So I always ask them, what is your asset? Let's sell that asset. Because families are willing to pay for marketing because we love our family. We all love our family. Clear?
Yes.
Interesting?
Yes.
Something new?
Yes.
How long will this presentation take? 1 page, correct or not? I told you, if you cannot do a presentation on 1 page, it's too complicated. Yes or no? I'm going to prove it again and again and again. And if you cannot present something on 1 page, it's too complicated. Alright, so that was charity. Now, the next one, retirement. You see, when I sit down with families, I always ask them, how do you retire family members? Because as you become a bigger and bigger estate, people will get older, and how do you retire family members? When I was 23 years old, I was working extremely hard because I wanted to achieve my first POT. So I was working so hard that I did not meet my father for 3 days. On the 3rd day, my dad was sitting in the garden, he was sipping on his cup of tea, and he saw me running to my car. I was running late for my class. I was still at university. So I was running late for class and I was running to my car, and he said, hey, come here, come here. I said, what happened? Dad, running late for class, really late for class. He said, I know, you're always late. Sit down. Sit down. So what do you want? He's like, do you know I've not seen your face for 3 days? I said, Dad, I've been very busy. You know, this year I'm trying to achieve my TOT, I've got classes, my master's program, my teachers are driving me nuts. He's like, I know. Sit down. Calm down. I said, Dad, what do you want? He said, Sanjay, do you know that everything that I have is yours? I said, yeah, I know. What do you want? He said, you never have to fight with me again. There's enough money for you to retire. You know that? I said, yes, I know. You still haven't told me what you want then. I'm getting late. Like, okay, now you're going to keep quiet and sit here and listen to it. Everything that I have is yours. But if you need more, come back. I was like, Dad, I don't understand. If everything that you have is mine, and I need more, where will you get it from? He said, Sanjay, you forgot. I still get $30,000 as a pension for the rest of my life every month. Everything that I have is yours, and if you still need more, I have $30,000 every month for you. That is power. Where you can tell your children, everything that I have is yours, and if you still need more, come back. How many of you have the guts or the financial strategy to be able to tell this to your children that everything that I have is yours, and if you still need more, come back? That is true power. And you can only do this if your retirement plan is outside your state. If you are living on the income of your real estate, your business, your investments, the beneficiaries will complain. Dad, you are consuming all the income. How do I manage the properties? I have to pay taxes, I have to do this. The investment portfolio has a negative return. The company is not making money. You want dividends. You're drawing dividends out of my company. We had COVID. If your retirement plan is inside your estate, the beneficiaries will complain. The only true way to build a retirement plan is to keep it outside your estate. And there is only one product that can live outside your estate. And what is that product? An annuity. An annuity. True life income. Your retirement plan has to always be outside your estate. Then you have the guts, you have true power to say this to your children. If you need more. Guys, this is one of the best selling concepts in the world. And it works every time. I sit down with one of the biggest families. I always tell them your retirement fund we build outside your estate. People confuse retirement and estate planning, and they combine it. They make an absolute mockery of estate. Because when you're withdrawing money from your estate, the estate value keeps dropping over a period of time. Right? So you've got good days, your bad days, your good days, your bad days, and you're withdrawing money at all regular intervals. That means during the bad days, you've got even worse days. Because you're removing money at the worst time from the portfolio. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that is retirement. The next one, income. As families, we are always focusing on assets, 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 assets. When we should be focusing on income, income, income. What was it? Income accumulation, income preservation. Now let's come to strategy number 2. Strategy number 3, income distribution. What do you want to give your children? Assets or income? Think about it. What do you want to give your children? $10 million right now or $1 million every year for the rest of their life? Have you heard of something called the jackpot syndrome? How many of you have heard of something called the jackpot syndrome? No? Okay. Write this down. People who win the jackpot go bankrupt within 5 years. People who win the jackpot go bankrupt within 5 years. And the answer is, why? Think about it. Why do people who win the jackpot, who won $100 million, and you go bankrupt within 5 years? Why? Because they don't know how to manage the money. They end up spending all of that money, losing it to creditors, they lose it to people who try to get the money from them, they get sued, they lose money to the government, their taxes, blah, 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 blah. There are multiple reasons why the money disappears. And that's when we realize something very important. Every single one of you is going to hit the jackpot when your parents die. Small jackpots, not necessarily big. Even $10,000 is a big jackpot, correct or not? If you got a call and say, you have won $10,000, how do you feel? Yesterday we discussed this, right? Lawyer calling you and saying what? You have just won a $50 million house because your uncle passed away. How did you feel? Happy. Yes or no?
Yes.
Only one girl felt sad because her uncle died. All of you are going to be beneficiaries of a jackpot because you will inherit something from your family. Maybe $10,000, maybe $1 million, maybe $10 million, maybe $100 million, and all of you will go through the same problem of what we call the jackpot syndrome. You will not like what you receive, you will complain. Such a old house, yeah. Who's going to go and live there anymore? Too dirty. That house is worth money. Still dirty. Please remember, there is no dirty money. It's money. Correct or not? A crumpled note in your pocket is as valuable as a brand new currency note. Yes or no? And you still complain. That's reality. Okay? So, income distribution is the only way to establish credibility of flow of money from one generation to the next. So, if you are not distributing income from one generation to the next, your strategy is incorrect. It's not about asset distribution, it's about income distribution. Are we clear? Alright? So that's income. The last one, asset transfer. You see, every time assets get transferred from one generation to the next, there are huge losses. Because people divide them, they have to pay taxes. So for example, if you're in the US, you will be paying 40% inheritance tax. In the UK, it's 40%. In Japan, 55%. Korea, 50%. How many of you know what was the highest inheritance tax rate ever in history? In the 1920s, the inheritance tax rate in some countries had gone to 90%.
What?
Do you remember, about 100 years ago, something started in the world. Don't give money to your children, give them values, let them make their money. This was started because of very high inheritance tax. It was a way to comfort the population. And listen, you're going to get taxed. Asset transfer is one of the biggest movements of money between one generation to the next. By the way, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z are going to be the biggest beneficiaries of the baby boomer asset bubble. There's going to be $1.5 trillion moving between one generation to the next, and the government wants a portion of it. If you don't do proper asset transfer strategies, you will be paying a lot in inheritance taxes globally. And I work with some of the wealthiest families in the world, and we are always having this conversation: when do we transfer assets? How do we transfer assets? What is the best way for us to reduce our tax liabilities? How are we going to fund our tax liabilities? And I'm going to give you a real life case study. One of my friends, one of my classmates, his father has 100 million pounds of real estate. How much? 100 million pounds of real estate in the UK. Now, what is the inheritance tax in the UK? 40%. So when the father dies and the son receives the real estate, how much tax does he have to pay? 40 million, correct? Where will the money come from? Where will the 40 million come from? Think about it. Now, by the way, the father is 72, cannot be insured. So what are you going to do now? So he might as well start. Right? If he sells, he has to pay what? Capital gains tax. But that is lower than the inheritance tax. Now, the market knows he's selling because of that. Do you think they will give him fair market price or they will drop the market price? They will drop the market price. Correct or not? A lot of people don't realize this. When you go to sell, there are no buyers. And when you go to buy, there are no sellers. True or not? When you go to sell, there are no buyers. When you go to buy, there are no sellers. And for some reason, we still buy. We buy an asset that is so big. By the way, the child, his son, has to pay 40 million pounds before he inherits the asset. Because it is taxes before inheritance. He can't even sell it if his father dies. So we had to get lawyers involved, we had to put the right structure, we paid some taxes today, we deferred some taxes, we were able to get a small life insurance policy on the father to manage some of the taxes. We got a bank to lend money and keep a credit line that in case the father dies, he would be able to borrow that credit line, pay off the taxes, and that itself, transfer of assets from one generation to the next, is a huge, huge problem that needs to be solved. Yesterday I told you there are 4 things to find purpose in life. Yes or no?
Yes.
What are the 4 things I asked you to write down? Look at your notes. Look at your notes. This is the reason why I'm telling you to write it down. You will forget otherwise. What are the 4 things I told you? How to find purpose in life. What is number 1? Find something that inspires you. Number 2. Find something that upsets you. Number 3. Find something that excites you. Number 4. That doesn't exist. This falls in category number 4. How many of you are specialists with asset transfer strategy? By the way, let me give you a very interesting summary of estate planning. You can either become an estate planning specialist, or each one of these topics could be an area of specialization. You can become a super specialist with inheritance, a super specialist with charity, a super specialist with retirement, a super specialist with income strategies, a super specialist with asset transfer strategies. And there is one common theme for these 5 strategies, and that is insurance. Insurance is the only solution to manage these 5 different risks. And people don't realize that that is a huge opportunity around you. But you need to spend time to study, learn, find mentors that will guide you to these different things. By the way, why do I draw it like a pyramid? Why not like a square? Why pyramid? Because the higher you go, the lower your income becomes. The highest income is at this level, and this has the lowest income. You think lawyers and accountants make a lot of money? No, they don't. How much does a lawyer charge to put a structure together? 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000? Maybe $75,000. That's it. They don't charge more than that. How much does a tax accountant or a tax attorney charge to give you tax advice? 150, maybe $200,000? That's it. That's it. Would you rather be earning $75,000 or $75 million? Make a decision. So the higher you go, the lower your income becomes. A lot of people don't realize this. I'd rather stay on the bottom side of the pyramid than the top side of the pyramid. Yes, the top side of the pyramid you get prestige. The bottom side of the pyramid you get money. If you have to choose between fame and money, what should you choose? Money, always. If you become a true specialist, your income will quadruple and maybe 10x. But the problem is, you're all learning to sell anything, everything. And that's where the problem is. And that's why I said, guys, today is a slightly more advanced session. But I would rather teach you something that might not be useful today, might be useful to you the next 2 or 3 years. But I need you to learn this. You have to learn to specialize. You have to learn to understand how asset structuring is done. How do you structure assets for taxes, for capital, for charity, for income, for transferring? You need to learn the strategies for asset structuring. And nobody is willing to teach this to you if you are not willing to learn. You have to do research. There is no one place where you can get all this knowledge. I learned this from different areas. I have a mentor that taught me about taxes. I had another mentor who taught me about legal structures. I have another mentor who taught me about how charities run. You see, I'm thinking so creatively about charities. Yes or no? You want to learn about one of the most complicated cases that I've worked on? Okay, if you don't understand, it's okay. But I would rather have you hear it than not hear it. Okay? I'm going to share this as the last case study. This is the most exciting case that I worked on. Oh yes, there's one thing I want to teach you. So before I get to the case study, let me share this with you. Very, very important. What is the definition of high net worth? All of you keep saying, right, I want to work in the high net worth market. Alright, so today I'm going to classify high net worth clients. Okay? There are 7 categories of high net worth clients. There are 7 categories of high net worth clients. The first variable is what we call net worth. The second variable is what we call cash. So, the first category is what we call HNI, high net worth individuals. How much net worth do you need to have to be considered a high net worth individual? Sorry? 5 million, you're right. So we need 5 million or $1 million in cash. If you've got $5 million in net worth or $1 million in cash, you're called a high net worth individual. Category number 2, ultra high net worth, UHNI. How much net worth do you need to be considered a UHNI? 50 million. How much cash? 10 million. If you've got $10 million in cash or $50 million in assets, you fall in the category of ultra high net worth. Category number 3 is what we call centi-millionaire. Centi-millionaire. These are people who have at least $100 million in assets, and we stop looking at cash. Right? They're called centi-millionaire. Category number 4 is what we call billionaires, who have at least $1 billion in assets. We call them billionaires. Category number 5 is what we call centi-billionaires, who have at least $100 billion in assets. And this is where Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all these families fall in, because they've got at least $100 billion assets. By the way, there are still 2 more categories. See, you only listen or hear up to this point. The richest man in the world, the richest man in the world, the richest man in the world. There are 2 more categories. Number 5. Number 6 is what we call royalty. Still have kings and queens in the world. And it's very difficult to put a net worth to a royal family member, and it's not fair to put that net worth. Right? Number 7, government. many of you are a financial advisor to government? You see that? Don't governments also need financial advisors? Yes or no?
Yes.
We call them public fund managers. How many of you are spending time to study how to work with government? Now, there might be a category 8. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There might be a category 8. I know about these 7 because I've worked with all 7. I have clients in every single category on this list. It took me 24 years to reach this point. Guys, I want you to understand, when you say I want to work with high net worth clients, you have to choose the type of high net worth client you work with because they've got different problems to solve, they've got different opportunities, they've got different capabilities, and they've got different networks. You will be competing with other advisors, but actually you never compete at this level. You collaborate with other advisors. So my advisory team has lawyers, accountants, bankers, investment managers, trust advisors. We've got multiple people that are involved in the advisory process when we're working with these types of clients. So you have to learn to build a network of people around you. Once you get anywhere above 4. So 1, 2, 3, you can still handle it. Above 4, it is what we call collaborative work. There is no competition. You collaborate with other advisors, you design new products, you become an actuary, you spend time with actuaries. So up to category 3, your standard products will work. Up to category 3, your standard products will work. Above category 3, you now have to start designing new products. Your insurance company will actually work with you to design special products when you start working in these 4 categories. So 4, 5, 6, 7, new products are designed. New strategies are designed. So I'm going to share with you one strategy that I worked for a government. Okay? I'm showing you the biggest case study. Fair? All right. So this country has 37,000 teachers. Okay? And they wanted to do free housing for these 37,000 teachers. So the government said we're going to allocate land and all these teachers will get a plot of land and the government will give them $100,000 as a bank loan. Which the teachers will automatically get. They don't have to apply, they don't have to do anything, it's automatically given to them. They'll have $100,000 to construct their house. So the land is free, and they get $100,000 from the government as a bank, from a bank, and they have to then use their salary to pay off that bank loan during their tenure as teachers. Now, is that a great idea? Is that good? I mean, teachers are getting a very cheap house, they're getting a beautiful landed property, right? And there is no interest on the loan, none of that, because the government is actually funding the interest, right? So the bank is just lending them money and they get paid over their lifetime. So I went back to the government and I said, wait, I have a better idea for you. I went to a pension fund and I said, I need to borrow the money. Instead of a bank, I went to a pension fund and I said, I need to borrow the money to construct these houses, and the government will give you guarantee that this money will be available to you whenever you need. Right? So it's what we call a sovereign guarantee. So I borrowed how much? 37 multiplied by 100,000 is how much? $3.7 billion. How much? 3.7 billion we borrowed from the pension fund. And the teachers have to pay an interest of 2% plus an insurance of 0.5%. So total is how much? 2.5%? On $100,000, how much is 2.5%? $2,500, correct? So I told the government, you don't have to give any money from the country. We don't borrow from any bank in the country. We're borrowing from a pension fund outside the country. You just increase the salary of all the teachers by $200 every month. That's it. Increase the salary by $200 every month. When the teacher dies, we pay $100,000 to the pension fund, and they are actually paying nothing from their pocket. You're just increasing their salary by $200 a month. Can you do that for all the 37,000 teachers? And they said, that's brilliant. So we don't need to pay, the banks don't need to give any money. No, we got it from a pension fund from outside the country. And lent 3.7 billion. The pension fund loves me because I give them a sovereign guarantee that's paying them 2% every year for the next 30, 40, 50 years. The insurance company will cancel the loan when the teacher dies. The $100,000 gets cleared. The government has given no money from their pocket, just increased the salary by $200 per month for all the teachers, very little. And now all the teachers have a real free house. They never have to pay back the capital, correct or not? They never have to pay that $100,000 back. So I designed this for the government, one of the countries. Now we're doing the same thing for the police, we're doing the same thing for the military, we're doing this for other civil government employees. $3.7 billion of life insurance, $3.7 billion in loans. Do you think I care about the commission? I do. I don't care about the commission. How much I earned on this does not. The fact that I'm the guy who did it is the feather in my cap. I actually don't care about how much money I earned on this. I earned very little, but the amount of publicity that I got, that Sanjay has given us a strategy that the government advisors will. I got 6 different governments who now work with me. I'm an advisor to almost 7 governments globally. And how many of insurance advisors are government advisors? You get the point? Do you see how creative I can use insurance? Anyone think like that? Guys, it took me 24 years to reach where I am today. The reason why I'm sharing this with you, this is the opportunity. I want you to understand how big our business can truly be if you're focused and you become a specialist. I'm going to repeat that today. If you truly become a specialist, you understand the power of structuring. And whenever you start a conversation, how do you start a conversation? All right. So good. You know, last week I was sitting with the government. Isn't that a great story to tell anyone?
Yes.
Don't you think now you are the advisor to it? How many of you wish I was your financial advisor? Be honest. You see, that's what I need. I need you all to believe I am the advisor for you. That's all I need you to believe. I'm not trying to sell you anything. But I want you to believe that if I don't work with Sanjay, I'm working with the wrong advisor. That's the purpose of a presentation. Because your product and my product is the same. Our products don't change. We only have 4 products. You die, I pay. You fall sick, I pay. You retire, I pay. Your kids go to college, I pay. There is no 5th product. Guys, we live in a relationship business. This business is about building the right relationships. And the only way to build real relationships is to meet people. You cannot build relationships without meeting people. You have to meet them, you have to touch them, you have to shake their hand, you have to give them a hug, they have to look at your body language. The only true way to build relationships is to meet. We can replace you for a short period of time. Zoom calls, what replace you? Holograms, clones, etc. You can replace that person for a short period of time, but it does not establish relationship. You might get one deal, two deals from your social media, blah, 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 blah. It does not replace the ability to build strong relationships. There are many things that are happening in the world of marketing, but if there's one thing that has not changed, is the fact that humans need humans still. I'm waiting for robots to come out, where you have lifelike robots, and then they can be your partners. You don't have to get married. Right? You can marry a robot, listens to you all the time, doesn't throw a tantrum. It's going to happen. It's happening. It's already happening in China. It's already happening. Guys, it's not going to happen. It's already happening. The institution of marriage will change in the next 25 to 30 years. It will change. Get ready. You will see a change in the way demographics will function globally. There's going to be a demographic change. People are not having as many children. We just had that conversation yesterday. While you're still in a country where population is not a problem, it will become a problem in the near future. You are living in a country where the population is very young, which means your problem is just postponed. It's not stopped. Today is your opportunity to solve a problem that is coming in the next 20 years. You can't go to a country where everyone's already old and they have a different problem. You have a different problem. Your population is going to retire in the next 25, 30 years. They will get old in the next 25, 30 years. You are the only profession that is thinking that long. Everyone else is thinking 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. Do you realize your company has also started making products 2, 5, 2, 5? Take 2 years, that's it. Take 5 years, that's it. Why? Because that is the only horizon people can see. When you work with high net worth clients, majority of high net worth clients will give you single premium. They like to pay it off. They don't like to do long-term commitments. They don't like to pay for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They don't like it. So please don't sell something to high net worth clients that they don't like. They will not like you. They love the 2-5, but sell the long-term guarantees, because these guarantees will disappear. Now, we have about 10 minutes left. If you do have any questions, this is your last opportunity to ask me. Because after this, you will be talking to my clone. Yes, if you can, just line up over here, right? So it's easy, guys, if you can just line up over here, it'll be very easy for you to answer. I will answer your question. I can only till 10, so if you come forward, stop. Guys, just line up behind your 10 people, so we can handle it that way, it's easy. Guys, you can stand behind, line up. 10. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I have 10 books? Okay, I have 10. How many books do I have? I have 10. Okay, perfect. Alright, we're done with that. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
My name is Mai.
Hi.
Hi. The question is, what are the common objections your clients express regarding estate planning, if there's any, and how do you address those concerns?
I think the most common objection I get in estate planning is, Sanjay, how do I make sure that my children will
Meron
not
pang
still fight?
vacant sa may... Teka, check.
Even though
Di
I'm
pa
doing
tapos
all
na.
this planning and doing all
Patapos
that, how can I guarantee that my children will
Mag-activity.
That's the most common objection. So the way I handle objection is, you remember it's a 4-step process? Acknowledge, ask the right questions, give a solution example, make it related. I'm going to tell you exactly how I handle that objection. But then Mr. Khan, there is no guarantee. You're absolutely correct. There is no guarantee that the children will not fight, even though we do all these plans. However, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have a plan or not have a plan? You see, when you're driving a car and you're wearing a seat belt, you're driving in a beautiful car, the children are in the car with you. Would you drive a car with a seat belt or without a seat belt? The seat belt does not stop you from having accidents, but but it puts the level of protection that maybe if there's a sudden jerk, a sudden problem, the children are still secure. Right? So, I would rather have the seatbelt and not have a seatbelt, right? And that's the same thing when it comes to estate plan. It's better to have an estate plan than not have an estate plan. I hope that answers your question. Absolutely. Now you can come out and get a signature later. I'll be sitting outside. All right.
Hi, Dr. Sanjay. I'm Bree from Celestial Summit Life Insurance Agency. So I have a question. When dealing with high net worth clients who are cold market connections, sometimes they'll ask me to go to their secretary first and just give the proposal. But I'm the type of person that I don't want to send a proposal because I want to present with the client directly. So, if you were in my position,
Is this cold market you said?
cold market because I know them personally, but we don't have a relationship. Yes. My father is the one who has a relationship.
Got it. So your father has a relationship. They know you, but you don't have credibility.
Yes. I don't have credibility yet. How do I personally approach this situation? What steps should I need to take to build trust?
I got your question. Alright. So your father knows rich people, you know some of you, these rich people don't know your credibility, they don't trust you because you're too young, blah blah. Got it. You got the question. Let me tell you how to present proposals without presenting a proposal. Alright? How to present a proposal without giving a proposal. Number one, I do not give illustrations to clients. I never give illustrations to clients. If they tell me, Sanjay, can you send a proposal to my secretary? I write a letter. Because a proposal can be in any form, correct or not?
Yeah.
Can I write a letter? Yes. So I write a letter. Dear Mr. Client, as discussed, we're going to be doing the following things for your family. I want to ensure that they have this or that. We write cost, benefit, cost, benefit, cost, benefit, cost, benefit. Please tell me which of these benefits are important to you and which are not. And accordingly, I can redesign the proposal and present to you when I sit down. That's it. Write the benefits, write the cost. By the way, don't even put dollar figures. Just write the cost, loss of X percentage of your income. This will cost you 4% of your income. This will cost you 1% of your income. This will cost you 0.5% of your income. This will cost you 0.2%. I write percentages instead of dollar figures. I write the benefit in dollars. I write the cost in percentage. You know why? Because the percentage is very small of, so let's say I'm buying $100 million of life insurance. What is the cost? Only 1%. If I say $1 million, too big, right? So I say, you know, $100 million will only cost you 0.99%. That's it. So imagine, you live 20 years, how much have you paid? 20%. You live 40 years, you paid how much? 40%. How many ever years you live, you will never live 100, correct or not? I'm still going to give you 100 million. And you've only paid 20%, 30%, 40% in your entire lifetime. Costs always in percentages, benefits always in dollars. Okay? High net worth clients, especially clients like this, please do not present any medical insurance proposal. Your credibility cannot be established because medical insurance is a fluctuating benefit. The fluctuating cost, the premium can change, the benefits can change. So please remember, when you're giving a proposal, health insurance is not part of that proposal. Make sense? Write a letter. Okay?
Thank you so much.
This will help you. By the way, this book will actually help you with those clients. You can tell them, I'm not saying it, this guy says it. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. You can actually tell your clients, I didn't say it. Look at this guy, read his book, he says it. I don't mean. And he's an advisor to some of the biggest governments in the world. Yes.
Hi Sanjay, this is Clang and I'm from Infinite Dragon. I believe estate planning is very vital to families, right? And then a common assumption is that the breadwinner or the head of the family should just get insured. Like, this is the only one who needs to be insured. But when it comes to comprehensive financial planning, it should be the whole family that needs to get insured, right?
Yeah.
So say for example, the breadwinner or the head of the family came to you like, hey Sanjay, I want to get insured or I want to get estate planning. How do you drive the conversation that leads to a family account? Like telling the head of the family, you know, all of you, like you and your wife and your child should get insured as well. Do you have a concept?
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Clang.
Clang.
Yes.
Clang. Do you think when your children grow up, they will buy insurance?
Yes.
They will, right? When is the cheapest time to buy insurance?
Baby.
The day you're born. That's the cheapest time to buy insurance. Unfortunately, you have to wait 7 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to wait 7 days. I wish I could insure you the day your children were born. But you know what? The wealthiest people in the world, on the 7th day of birth, insure their children. Because they know that when their children grow up, they will buy insurance. Unfortunately, there's only so much insurance that we can give to our children. And the maximum amount of insurance we can give children is 300 million? Can you give 300 million to children? What's the maximum amount of insurance we can give to children, guys? How much? Come on, you know your product, come on. It's not my product. How much? 50 million pesos? Alright, so that's, I'm sorry, even if you want to buy 100, I can't maximum 50. Buy it. Because the cheapest time to buy insurance is the day you're born. Unfortunately, I can't insure you on the day you're born, but on the 7th day. On 7th day, the world was recreated. And I'm going to give your children 50 million pesos. That's the maximum I can give. Always buy the maximum you can get. Because when you want to buy, it only becomes more expensive. And the wealthiest families in the world, on the 7th day, buy the maximum amount of insurance that a child can buy. And unfortunately, the maximum amount you can buy is only 50 million. Only. You have to use the word only. Choice of words plays a very important role in positioning. Unfortunately, the only amount of money they can buy is 50 million pesos. Let's start with 50 million and then we'll see what. Any other questions? No? Okay, fine here. Those ask for the signature. If you don't ask for the signature, the case is not closed. Again, this book will help you with those. I've actually written that down for children, exactly how much insurance to buy. The formula is in that book. Yes.
Hi, Dr. Sanjay. I am Hannah.
I'm going to try and do something for all of you. I'm going to find a way to give you that book for free, all of you. I'm going to try and see if my team can give you a link. You can download the book for free. I'll give that across to all of you. Because that book has a formula. Oh, there you go. See? Scan it. The book is available for free for all of you. Right? My team has already put it together.
Uy, scan mo. Hindi ko makita. Ako din eh. Sa kabila.
For a very simple reason, I truly believe that every financial advisor should know the formulas for financial planning. How much insurance you should buy, how much critical illness. If you're married, what should you do? If you're not married, what should you do? If you have children, what should you do? If you're divorced, what should you do? If you're a single parent, you're a single mom, single dad, you're a child of parents, you have dependents as parents, what should you do? I've written down all the different strategies that you can do. And this is a book I've written for clients. This is not a book for you, but you can use it with every client of yours.
Lalanan.
And tell them, you see, he's written a book on the different types of income. So retirement income, how do you plan for retirement, how do you plan for education, how do you plan for your family, etc. I thought I'd give that as a gift to all of you because I truly believe. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Dr. Sanjay. Good morning. I am Hannah from Global Amazonite. So I believe there are rookies attending here in this conference who might be having some difficulties in finding high net worth clients just like me. And the question would be, what is your advice for a rookie or newly licensed financial advisor such as 0 to 3 months old like me as to how to build credibility faster and efficiently? And also, is it necessary to do full-time even though we just started? If yes, do you think we can?
Alright, Hannah, I'm going to ask you a question. Is this your first job?
First job now.
What were you doing before this?
I am a teacher,
You were a teacher. What were you teaching?
English.
You were teaching English. Now, Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, but as a teacher, you're teaching a language, you're teaching people to communicate, correct? You see, you're still doing the same job. You're teaching one generation to communicate with the generation. And when you're working on high level time, this is how you establish credibility. I was teaching children the power of language. That if they get the language correct, they'll become successful. And I realized that there is a breakdown of communication between one generation and another generation. So I took on the job of a full-time financial professional who communicates, who builds, establishes communication channel between one generation and the next. Because your English and your children's English does not match. Your children don't understand the English you speak, and you don't understand the English your children speak. Even though you're using the same words, they have different meanings. So for example, your children don't understand the word hard work. You're rich, so they assume, why do I need to work hard? You say hard work, they don't understand hard work. You tell them be disciplined, they don't understand discipline. You tell them learn, they don't understand the concept of learn. Learn what? There's a breakdown of communication between one generation and the next. And I've become a specialist to become a communicator between generations. So when you sit down at a high time, that's your sales pitch. That I'm an English teacher, I teach language, I teach communication, I realize there's a communication breakdown between two generations. I've now made it my full-time job to help reduce the generational communication gap, where one generation and the second generation communicate on what is going to happen for the family. I've become a specialist in doing that. And this is my only full-time job. The answer to your second question was, can you do this part-time? What did I just tell you? Full. You're welcome.
Thank you.
This will help you with your mindset. Right? You're welcome.
Hi, Dr. Sanjay.
Hi.
My name is Judy, and I think my question is very general. Many of salespersons are, many of the people here inside this hall is a salesperson, but I believe I'm one of the people who isn't a closer. Do you happen to have any advice or things that would actually help us on that?
I did something very interesting. My father always said this to me. He said, "Sanjay, you're a great opener or very closer."
Sabi niya, ay, hindi.
Right? I can open conversation very comfortably, right? I can sit down with you, I can have a great conversation. I'm very shy to say,
Pay for it.
right, before let's move forward, right? I don't know how to get them to sign documents or, we need to do the next step, blah, blah, blah. How do you do it? So my closing was extremely weak, and I was sitting with my father one day, and my dad is a brilliant closer, right? He's probably one of the best closers I know. And I was sitting with him one day, and he said, "Sanjay, you're a great opener, your closing, rubbish." And I said, "I know." How many of you feel that? Be honest. Alright, it's not just you, right? It's a lot of us. We don't know how to close. So I'm going to teach you a strategy. It's called the grandma's broomstick strategy. Alright? It's called the grandma's broomstick strategy. This is my father's strategy. And this is how he talked. He said, you know when grandma is baking a cake, he puts the cake in the oven. How does she know that the cake is ready? He breaks a small part of the broomstick, removes the cake, pokes the cake. If the stick is wet, the cake is not ready. Puts the cake back in, waits another 5 minutes, pulls the cake out, again pokes the cake. If the stick is dry, she knows the cake is ready. So it's the same thing with your client. You have to poke the client to check if they are ready or not. Right? If they are not ready, wait. Redo your presentation. Re-emphasize what you're trying to do. Poke again. Right? You don't poke more than 3 times, by the way. Okay, after 3 times, your cake batter was wrong. And your presentation was wrong. Please understand. You don't poke more than 3 times. Actually, I would recommend poke 2 times. And after that, if they don't close, that means your presentation was bad. They did not even buy into your presentation. The mix was wrong. You did something wrong. End the conversation. Come back to it another day. Okay? So, how do you do that? You ask a few questions in fact finding. By the way, Mr. Client, I'm glad we had this conversation. How old are your parents? And then you start to write down. You start to make notes. Right? So, what's your name?
Jubilin.
Sorry?
Jubilin.
Jubilin. Okay? Jubilin, how old are your parents? So how old is your father? How old is your mother? We need this data for the application, correct or not? By the way, do you travel? Do you have any siblings? Questions that you need to fill up in the application form, you start asking questions. You ask 3 questions, and you tell them, if they answer the 3 questions, they are ready. If they don't answer these 3 questions, they ask you, why you ask this? Well, Mr. Client, to make sure that you can get this kind of proposal, we need to do something called underwriting. We need to check if you're eligible, if there's any question that the underwriter has, and these are some of the questions that the underwriter asks. By the way, one of the other questions they ask is, what's your medical history? Right? What's your income? But Julian, I'm not comfortable with disclosing data yet. Now you know they are not ready. Don't poke anymore. Mr. Client, that's absolutely fine. We'll come back to this on another day. Leave. Don't try to close. You have done a bad job. If after asking these 5 questions, they are still not willing to give you information, they are not ready to have a discussion further. But if they give you the answer to these 3 questions, right? They tell you, yeah, my father is old, my mother, are they healthy? Yeah, they're healthy. You travel? Yeah, I travel to Singapore, Malaysia, blah, blah, blah. Great. When Mr. Client, I need a signature here. Ask for the signature. Once you ask 3 questions, ask for the signature. Alright? Does that answer your question?
Definitely. Thank you.
Fantastic. Go ahead. This will help you.
Ayan, robot tapos, hindi ko ma-share.
Hi.
Hello, good morning. My name is Mark, and I have 2 questions for you this morning. Number 1 is, in the absence of fact-finding, as you mentioned yesterday, how would us choose the presentation to make on that particular coffee meeting from the many presentations that you did?
Okay. I'm going to teach you how to choose a presentation in 2 seconds. Okay? And that's why this book is very important, the financial planning book. I've basically divided the world in 8 categories. Right? And to divide them into 8 categories, I need to ask you 3 questions that are not intrusive. Okay? So Mark, are you married?
Yeah.
Are you married?
No, I'm not yet.
Oh, you're not married. Do you have children? No? By the way, you don't have to be married to have kids, you know that, right? So Mark, there's something I want to tell you. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They are single, they're not married, they have no other responsibility except taking care of themselves. there are two things I will tell you, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that financial advisors make. Mark, you never need to buy life insurance. You know why? Because you die, nobody cares. But you need the best retirement plan, because when you grow old, nobody cares. And you need the best income protection plan, because when you are sick, nobody cares. And you only guys will take care of you. And that's the best advice I can give you. Make sense?
Yes.
My second question is, provided that there are already 3 generations in the setup, one generation is, the first generation is one dead mother, and they have only one son with a wife, and 2 sons, 2 grandsons.
Yeah. So there is a grandmother who has a son and a wife. This son has got 2 children, right?
No, the wife has a first son,
Has one son.
and the union of the as one. Yes.
They have one more. So they've got one stepson, one real son.
Yes.
Fantastic. Tell me, are you going to divide the wealth equally?
My question is, they're currently undergoing the father's estate.
Yeah.
So how can I convince that the son get the estate, no, get the protection he needs during this time?
All right. Now I'm going to speak to the son. I'm going to ask this question. Are both the children going to inherit equally? Question number 1. Number 2, what if they don't get along? Right? Number 3, what happens in the event of divorce? Does your stepson continue to have shares, the estate, is you and your wife divorced? Because yes, this one way, you get it. Right? These are natural, biological sons. But in case you both divorce, what happens to your stepson? So, it's important to have this conversation. Nobody else is going to have this conversation. I tell this to my clients. Mr. Client, I'm going to ask you some difficult questions that nobody else will ask you. Because nobody else has the guts to ask you these difficult questions. So I'm going to tell you exactly what the questions you should be thinking. You need to answer. Number 1, do both the sons get equal shares in the family wealth? Number 2, in case there's a divorce, does your stepson continue to get the shares that you initially thought? Right? Number 3, in case your wife dies before you, what's the plan for your stepson? If you continue, what if you marry again? You can. What if you marry again? Does your stepson continue to be living on you, and are you going to take on that responsibility? Right? So these are the questions you have to answer for your family. Your father is going to plan for you, but you have to plan for your business. If every generation took care of the next generation, we will have no kids. That answer your question?
Yes.
It doesn't. Absolutely. Do you guys realize you give me a case study, I have to come up with an answer on the spot? And imagine, this is not even AI, this is NI. Right? Actually, this is NS, natural stupidity. Yes.
Hello, good morning. I'm Marielle Tananero from A2A's. So, my question is, how did you manage your fear when you were a beginner and the client asked you if you should buy the $200 million insurance? Where did you find your courage to say yes to
Okay.
that client?
What's your name, sorry?
Marielle.
Marianne?
Marielle. Marielle.
I'm just going to get M, okay? Alright, hi M, okay. And what were you doing before you joined this business?
I'm an engineer.
You're an engineer. And this is your position, right? So this is what you tell the client from a credibility position, courage perspective. As an engineer, you believe in structure, correct? I think engineers are the most structured minds in the world. And as an engineer, you're qualified to give structural advice. When I sit down with a client, I always position myself as a structural engineer. That's going to do managing your asset structure. Use the word structure every time you speak. You will get confidence because your history is, the past is that of structure. You understand blueprints, you understand structure, you understand engineering formulas. If the formula is not calculated correctly, the structure will fall apart, correct?
Correct.
Exactly. It's the same in financial planning. When I build a financial structure, I build an asset structure, I need the formulas to be correct. And that is my credibility. Trust your formulas. If your formula says 200 million, the answer is 200 million. If the formula says 20 million, the formula says 20 million. If the formula says 1 million, the answer is 1 million. Trust your formula. Don't get scared by big numbers. Trust your formula. The speed of light is, there is a formula, correct? E is equal to mc squared, correct? The formula doesn't change. Trust your formula. What is the formula for life insurance? How much life insurance should you buy if you're a high net worth client? 25 to 50% of your net worth. Period. That is the formula. If that formula says 100 million, 100 million. If that formula says a billion, 1 billion. The formula does not lie. Trust your formula. You're an engineer. If you don't trust the formulas, every engineering structure will fall. Correct or not?
Yes, correct.
That answers your question.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for all the concepts and for allowing us to use our presentation. The question comes from, do you have an instance wherein policies are already in place or there are already existing tools in the government, let's say for your consultation? How do you go about it offering another policy or another proposition?
So the clients already have existing policies. How do you give advice to someone who already has existing policy? Correct? What's your name again?
June.
June. June. Guys, write this down, all of you. How much life insurance should a person buy?
10%.
10 times of your annual income. How much critical illness or income protection should a person buy? 5 times of your annual income. How much money should you save for retirement? 20% of whatever you earn. If you earn $10,000, $2,000. If you earn $100,000, $20,000. The formula doesn't change. How much money should you save for your kids' education? 5% of whatever you earn. If you have 2 children, how much should you save?
10%.
Sorry?
10.
If you have 3 children?
10%.
If you have 4 children? If you have 5 children?
25.
No. It doesn't matter how many children you have, the answer is always 5.
Thank you.
Can you imagine you're saving 20% for retirement and you're spending another 10% for your insurance and I tell you save another 25%? You will die, correct or not? The answer doesn't change how many children you have, it's always 5% of income. Because 20% is for your retirement. This is the formula for planning. Now, if you have existing policies, right? So let's say you already have some life insurance, which is your income, for example, is $100,000. How much insurance should you have? 1 million. Let's say you already have 300,000. I tell them, Mr. Client, great, you already have 300,000, you still need to do 700 more. I have never met a single person in the world who has done all the 4 accurately. Nobody. So even if they have existing policies, trust the formula. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. The formula is written on page number page number 54. I've actually written all these formulas down. So if you've downloaded the book, it's on page number 54. Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Sanjay. I'm Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
My question is, we all know that you're from a well-known and wealthy family.
Yes.
The question is, why did you choose to be a financial advisor that you work so hard? Is it out of your obligation?
No, let me tell you something. You have to have a career in life, correct or not? You have to have a career. I always chose a path of least resistance. This is the easiest profession in the world because there is no competition. I told you that yesterday. Nobody studies to become a financial advisor. If you study, you will stand out from the rest of the competition. I studied financial planning. I've done 2 bachelors, 3 masters, 2 PhDs. I'm a qualified accountant, I'm a qualified lawyer, I'm a qualified actuary. How many financial advisors have the ability to say they have studied insurance? So guys, it was the path of least resistance, lowest competition. It only made sense for me to continue a legacy that I already have. It's a simple business. Everybody will die. Every child will go to college. Everybody wants to be born retired. Yes or no? If I can help you achieve those dreams while making money, how much more better than that? I'm helping people achieve their dreams. I'm actually doing God's work. I'm protecting families that are not mine. I'm protecting children that are not mine. I'm protecting businesses that are not mine. How much more noble can a profession get? Think about it. I pay doctors, I pay lawyers, I pay accountants, I pay other professionals who will not do their services for free. And you need access to that service. You need access to a good doctor, be ready to pay. I pay for you. You want access to a good lawyer when you pass away? I pay for you. You need access to a good tax accountant when you pass away? I pay for you. Who else is willing to write a check when nobody else is willing to? I am. That's my motivation. Thank you very much. That's very true. Guys, if you do have any questions, please do send them across. I would love to answer them when I can. But I want all of you all to remember one thing. So if I had to summarize today, I had to summarize the 2-day session into a 2-minute conversation. Your presentation will affect your production. Your activity will affect your production. If you build the right discipline, breakfast, lunch, dinner, never eat alone. Between breakfast and lunch, meet 5 people. Between lunch and dinner, meet 5 people. If you build that discipline, your probability of success is almost guaranteed. Trust your formulas. Trust your system. You need advice. You have a lot of people around you who have experience. Don't be scared of asking questions. This is not a part-time job. This is a full-time job. Your minimum, so this is going to be a challenge, okay? 1,500 of you versus me. You do 1,500 MDRT, I do 1,500 MDRT. Challenge accepted? Alright, so you guys do 1 MDRT each, and I'll do 1,500 alone. Is that okay? And I look forward to spending time with every single one of you next year. God bless.